So, you've been injured in Scotland, and the thought of making a claim can feel, well, pretty overwhelming. But what if I told you that the single most important first step is something you can do right now and it won't cost you a penny? In this explainer, we're going to walk you through how to get the one document your entire case will be built on, your medical records.
If that sounds like you, then you're in the right place. We're about to give you a really crucial piece of information that puts you in the driver's seat right from the very start. Think about it like this. Before a solicitor can even start to advise you, before a medical expert can assess your injuries, and definitely before an insurance company will even look at your case, they all need the exact same thing. This one document is the factual foundation for everything. Without it, you've got a story. With it, you've got a case. Okay, so let's break down exactly why these records are the key that unlocks everything. They are the official, undisputed starting point. Without them, your claim is just your word against someone else's. But with them, it becomes a solid case built on objective, hard evidence. Now, you might not even realize this, but the law in Scotland actually gives you a clear and incredibly powerful right to get this information. So let's dive into the legal rules that make this all possible. The main tool you're going to use is called a subject access request, or you'll see it called a SAR. I know it sounds super technical, but all it really is the formal name for you asking an organization, like an NHS health board, for a copy of your personal data. And yep, that absolutely includes every single note, scan, and report about your health. And what's really interesting here is how these two sets of laws work together for you. Think of UK GDPR as your main power tool. It gives you really broad access to pretty much everything. Then the 1990 Act comes in and adds some extra specific rights. It's especially important, for example, in the tragic case of a fatal accident claim, because it allows the executor to get access to those vital records. And just look at the scope of what you can ask for. It's not just the main chart from your hospital stay. It's the whole shebang. Your entire GP history, the radiologist report on your x-rays, those physio notes, even internal emails between doctors about your care. You are absolutely entitled to the full picture. Okay, so you have the right, but how do you, actually do it? Let's get into the practical step-by-step of how this all works. Honestly, it's a pretty straightforward three-step process. First up, you've got to figure out who actually holds the records. Is it your local GP or a specific NHS health board? Second, you make the request. A lot of the time, they'll have a simple form right on their website. And third, you just have to prove you are who you say you are with some ID. And that's it. Now, listen up, because this is the real game changer. Your solicitor will, of course, do this for you, but getting that first step started can sometimes involve delays. The crucial thing to know is this: you do not have to wait. You can request your own records at any time, and by doing it yourself, you put yourself on the fast track, potentially shaving months off the very beginning of your claim. Right, let's talk about the practical side of this. How long is it going to take, what's it going to cost, and what on earth happens if they're late? So, the law is actually very clear about this. Under UK GDPR, the organization that holds your records has 1 calendar month to get them to you. But, and there's always a but, right? There is a little catch. If your request is really complex, or if it involves a massive amount of paperwork, they can extend that deadline by another 2 months. The key thing is they have to tell you within that first month and explain exactly why they need more time. And here's where we get a little dose of reality. Big NHS health boards are dealing with a huge number of these requests. So even though the law says 1 month, in practice, delays of 2 to even 4 months are not unusual. It's just good to be prepared for that possibility. But if they are late, you are not powerless. Not at all. Your solicitor can start chasing them. And if that doesn't work, a formal complaint can be made to the Information Commissioner's Office, which is the UK's data watchdog. And honestly, a lot of the time, just the threat of that complaint is enough to get things moving. So after all this talk about legal stuff and timelines, you're probably wondering, okay, so what's this going to cost me? Well, this is often the best news people hear all day. Under UK GDPR, getting access to all of this crucial information, the very foundation of your claim, is completely 100% free. Okay, so we've covered the how to get them. Now let's really dig into the why. How exactly are these records used as the bedrock of your evidence? Think of it this way. Your records do 3 really important jobs. First, they show what your health was like before the accident happened, which creates a baseline. Second, they provide an objective, real-time account of your injuries and the treatment you received. And third,
They are the raw material that an independent medical expert will use to write their incredibly important report for your claim. A lot of people worry, what if I had a bad back already? But here's what you need to know. Scots law has this principle that you take the person as you find them. So if an accident makes an old injury or a pre-existing condition worse, you are absolutely entitled to be compensated for that. And if your claim happens to be for clinical negligence, the importance of these records just goes through the roof. As this quote says, they aren't just a piece of supporting evidence. They are the central battleground where the entire case is going to be won or lost. So let's bring this all together. If there's one theme running through this entire process, it's that having access to your own information gives you power. When you boil it all down, it comes to this simple but really profound truth. This information is about you, it belongs to you, and the law is fully on your side to make sure you can have it. And that is the key thing to take away from all of this. Knowing and using this right isn't just a bit of legal admin. It is the single most important, practical, and powerful first step you can possibly take on your journey. Everything else comes from this. So we'll leave you with this. We've shown you that you have a clear, free, and legally backed right to the foundation of your entire claim. So the only real question left is, are you ready to use it?